and welcome back to another episode of the Cryptcast. Joining me today is the lovely ZehOverseer.
Fine, anime is cool. There, I said it.
We broke him, guys. We finally broke him and made him one of us. I hope most of our viewers are anime fans, because if not, what the fuck are you doing here? But anyways, yeah, welcome back to the lovely Cryptcast. And the last episode, we talked about Evangelion. Now, there's becoming a trend with Cryptcast now that I subject ZehOverseer to watching anime, and then I get his thoughts on it in podcast. It's less subjecting and just watching anime with him that he's already interested in and getting his thoughts on it.
Yeah, you need to put out that disclaimer. It's not like it's not like these guys are literally strapping me to a chair or something. It's consensual anime watching.
What's the safe word, Zay?
Cinnamon!
The anime that I got ZehOverseer to watch this time was Madoka Magica. He watched all of Madoka Magica, including Rebellion, and we're going to talk a little bit about Rebellion a little bit later. We're going to review the series as a whole first.
Yeah.
Because the series comes first. With that in mind, Zay, give me your initial thoughts going into Madoka Magica.
My initial thoughts? Okay, so I know very little about magical girl shows. I knew from the beginning that this was Magical Girl. By the way, this is going to be spoilers. We should probably say that right at the front of this podcast. You can't talk about this show without going into spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers ahead for Madoka Magica, because we're going to get into some shit. So, anyways.
I heard that this was magical girls, but dark and twisted and psychological and fucked up. I knew of it as psychological horror, which it's now that I've watched it, it's kind of that, but not really. So my experience with magical girls is I watched Precure. I watched the first 15 episodes of Precure because PS Weasel wouldn't shut up about it. That's a joke. That's a joke. I love you, man. Without knowing much about magical girl shows, I'm pretty much I was just going into this show blind, basically.
Right.
I knew a couple things about it. I knew the little cat bastard was the villain, which I call him the little cat bastard. I know his name is Cube, but that's just what I call him, because that's what he is.
He's a little shit.
Yeah, I got nothing. How long do I have to keep this build up going? Because can I just gush about this show now, please?
Yeah, let's talk about your actual thoughts on the series as a whole.
Yo, it's so this show. I am people listening. I was not we've done a couple reviews here on BridgeBrains in podcast form. I was not this hype about. I was not this hype about Ralph Breaks the Internet. I was not this hype about Evangelion. I wasn't even this hype about Into the Spider-Verse.
Dang.
This anime is this is so good. I loved this show. If I had watched this show when I was 15, I guarantee you, knowing 15-year-old Zay, if I had watched this back then, this show would have controlled my life. I would have been obsessed with this anime at 15.
Also, this anime is turning 10 years old, I think either this year or next year. So
yeah, so I would have been about 15 when it came out.
That's insane to me, man.
So, if I could just quote the tweet that I put out after I finished watching the series, any anime that can make me cry like this one did deserves mad applause, or however I worded it, because this anime is an emotional roller coaster. Like hell, man. Like fuck. Like this. I'm trying to figure out. If you can't tell, I don't even know where to start. I'm just sort of babbling right now because I don't know what to talk about first.
Because it's that good.
Yeah, because there's so much I love about it. I guess I could talk. I guess I could say the thing that I've had on my mind ever since we knew we were going to do a Cryptcast on Madoka Magica. This is what I've been thinking about. Like, this anime resonates with me a lot more than, like, a lot. And because pretty much the biggest reoccurring theme in this anime, and, like, the main theme, is, like, doing the right thing. Like, what it means to do the right thing. Like, are you selfish for wanting to get something out of doing the right thing? And does that make it not right? Or, like, what is the cost for doing it? How much are you willing to sacrifice for other people? Like, that kind of shit. That kind of shit resonates with me so hard because that is the stuff I really care about. I'm a fucking writer. I'm a comedian. My life's goal is to bring joy and make people happy. So this anime really hardcore resonated with me. I am not ashamed to admit that when, and I always forget her name, the blue-haired girl?
Sayaka.
Thank you. I will not be ashamed to admit that when she broke down in front of Madoka, just like because like the reason she became a magical girl in the first place was to help somebody else. And after that, everything just completely falls apart for her. Like, her life goes to fucking hell because she did that. And seeing her just break down, just crying about, like, why does this have to happen? I just wanted to do something good. I cried like a bitch during that scene.
You know, at first, when I first watched this show, I was actually kind of upset with how Sayaka went about her wish. Like, yeah, the guy, spoilers again, the guy she likes is in the hospital. Yeah, that sucks. She wants to help him. Yeah, but that's really cool and all. But again, she's committing herself to becoming a magical girl, which she knows can be really fucked up for this guy that is clueless about her crush on him. Like really?
Well, this kid was also a prodigy at the violin, and because of his accident, he can't do it anymore. So that's sad,
right? But then he ended up not choosing her, even really interacting with her anymore after he chose Sayaka's friend, which is kind of fucked up. And then she, becomes all sad and then ends up becoming...
And then Sayaka's green-haired friend, I forget her name too, like, she admits, like, she has a crush on... And she goes to Sayaka, saying, like, I know you're close friends with him too, so if you don't want me to admit my love for him, I won't. So tell me now. And Sayaka, even though she gave up her life to help this kid, she still can't bring herself to say no to her friend.
Yeah.
Like, Sayaka's just trying her absolute goddamn best to do the right thing, and it's tearing her apart. And she's just breaking down. And it's like, it's tough to watch.
Yeah.
Like, for someone like me who, like, cares about other people and, like, helping people means a lot to me, it's really hard to watch.
Yeah.
And even when she just has her, like, she just screams at Madoka for, like, why don't you become a magical girl? Do what I did if you care about me. Like, she just screams at her like that. But even after she does that, after she runs off, like, after screaming at Madoka like that, she's running off crying to herself, saying, like, oh my god, I can't believe I said that. What's wrong with me? Like, that's... The people in this anime are just so real. Like, the emotions and the way people act in this anime are so fucking realistic.
They're all having mental breakdowns, and because like we've said multiple times, being a magical girl sucks. Like,
oh yeah, it's like, that's the main. Like, remember last time when we were talking about Evangelion, where we talked about how the creator wanted to be like, hey guys, yeah, I know, mecha anime are super popular, right? But, getting into a mech and fighting monsters in space would suck, right? Like, that's what Evangelion did for the next anime. So that's what Madoka Magica comes around and is just like, hey guys, I know y'all like magical girls, but being a magical girl would suck, right?
Just anything that anything that has all this responsibility and all this fucking power shit. It's too much. It's too much for anyone.
Yeah.
Like, the basis of the series is to, like, really get you invested in, like, the mental shit that goes on with these characters. Whether you relate to it or not, it's really to be like, think about that shit.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about the psychological horror thing at the beginning. I would not call this anime horror. I would not call it that. But it is certainly psychological.
What is horror is everything that involves the witches shit, because
oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
The animation for the witch fights is insane.
Every time I watch one of those witch fights, I just think to myself, like, God, how long did this take to animate?
Which, Rebellion, a movie, 90% of that movie is in that animation. It's insane.
Like, the animation in this show is next level.
Yeah.
I did once say to you, like, when you asked me about the animation, like, obviously the fight scenes are all absolutely incredible. They're mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But if I did have at least one, and believe me, it's a tiny, itty-bitty little nitpick, but if I did have one problem in this show, sometimes, and I do mean sometimes, the animation isn't that great. Like, a lot of the time, like, during the classroom scene specifically, sometimes you look at some of the students, like, in the back row, and it looks like it was drawn by a 5-year-old.
Yeah, that's the problem with a bunch of anime, honestly. That's a problem with cartoons in general.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. But, like, the consistency of the top-notch animation in Madoka Magica is so fucking good. Shaft, they are fucking geniuses. An animation trope that I pointed out to you was the Shaft tilt, where every character tilts their neck upwards.
Oh yeah, that. They look straight up at the sky and then turn, and that's when you know, like, oh shit's about to go down.
Yeah, that's what's known as the Shaft tilt, because that shit happens in the Monogatari series, and it's insane. The shit is about to go down.
Like, oh, this person is not well.
Like, either some big info, like, big exposition is about to happen, or there's about to be some, like, fucking gore or fight or something is about to go on. That's what that Shaft tilt signifies. They made that a trend. and I support that.
It's creepy. I'll give them that. It's a creepy head turn. So remember when I said PS Weasel, like, I watched Pretty Cure?
Yeah.
Was not I'll say this right now, was not a fan. But like, it did, like, watching Pretty Cure did allow me to, like, catch on to, like, certain magical girl, like, tropes and staples that, like, I was able to pick up in the show that I would not have been able to if I hadn't watched Pretty Cure. Like, the first episode of this show opens, like, the very first scene in the show, it starts with the main character having a dream of the future. Like, having a vision dream before she wakes up and the actual show starts. And I'm just like, oh shit, that's exactly how Pretty Cure started. I assume that's just, like, a thing in Magical Girls then, because, like, that was very obviously meant to, like, parallel other Magical Girl shows.
Yeah, it's a common trope in Magical Girl anime. There's so much shit that Madoka Magica pulls off that is a Magical Girl trope, and they're doing that just to be like, hey, this is, referencing or parroting Magical Girl shows. Madoka Magica is basically just an edgy parody of Magical Girl, and they point out that being a magical girl would fucking suck. Last
time I said in this podcast, when we were talking about Evangelion, that if it's parody, like if it's parody, if it's a comedy, if it's serious, it's satire. I just want to go on record and saying I pulled that out of my ass. I have no idea what I'm talking about when I said that, so I'm not sure. Parody, satire, call it whatever you want. I don't know I don't know labels very well.
Yeah. So I have to get your thoughts. Who is best character in Madoka Magica? Your opinion.
Sayaka, right? That's her name?
Sayaka, yeah.
Okay, good. I got it right. I'm smarter than a 5th grader. I want to say her just because I related to her the most. Like, everything that she did. Like, every single thing that she did, I'm just like, yeah, I probably would have done the same.
Yeah.
I feel like the obvious answer would be to say Homura. I haven't checked. I haven't checked the fandom. I haven't been around in that neck of the woods much at all since I finished the series. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say she's most people's favorite. Like, she's very popular in the fandom.
It's a bit mixed because I think what really set people's tone with that was her.
What happens in the movie?
Yes, Rebellion kind of changed people's perspective on her a lot. So it's a bit 50-50. So like when she first shows up, like here like this is a thing that the show does. It introduces characters, and like by the end of the show, you'll realize that they are the exact opposite as how they were first portrayed. Yeah.
But when she first introduces, like, okay, this is slightly after when she's first introduced. Basically, at the point where she tells, like, Madoka, like, she tries her damnedest to keep Madoka from turning into a magical girl.
Yeah.
She's telling her over and over, like, Sayaka, like, she made her choice and she's doomed. She's going to die. Like, there's nothing you can do. Let her go. Like, when she tells Madoka over and over, like, let Sayaka go, let her die, do not become a magical girl. Like, it's not worth it. And Madoka's just like, no, she's my friend. Like, she's suffering. I have to help her. And Homura's just like, no, don't do it. She's a lost cause. But then, like, I have no, like, smart way of, like leading up to this. But later you find out the real reason, like, Homura's trying to protect Madoka so much, and you're just like, oh shit, you're a hypocrite, Homura. You're a fucking hypocrite.
Yeah, Homura's she's an interesting character. I'll just say that. Like, she really gets people thinking about, like, morality.
Yes, morality. That's
yeah.
I guess that would be a simpler way of talking about the show's theme. The show is about morality.
Yeah, it's about, like, thinking about what's right and wrong and how you go about things.
Yeah, what is the right thing to do?
Yeah. And
how far are you willing to go to do the right thing? This show is all about that.
Exactly.
And it really dives deep into that question. Like, deeps dives.
Exactly.
Okay. I've been meaning to say this whole time, so I might as well just get it out. Quite possibly, I'm tempted to say either one of my favorites or my favorite. I don't think it fucking matters. I think I'm thinking about it too hard. One of my favorite things about this show is that nobody in this show is technically evil. Like, every single character that's introduced that you think is a villain, like, Homura turns out to not be evil. Like, the girl, I forget what her name is, the food girl, whose father owned a church. What's her name? Kyoko, yes. I'm sorry, I don't know Japanese names very well. When she shows up, literally her first introduction is her trying to kill Sayaka. Right, that's her name?
Yeah.
Her first introduction is trying to kill Sayaka because she wants the witch to start killing people so it can become more powerful, so that she can kill the witch and get all the, like goodies for herself. That's her introduction. So,
yeah.
At that point, you really hate this character. And even then, even by the end, you come to realize that she's not an evil person, and you actually come to, believe it or not, like her before the end of the series. which other shows, they can't do that shit in like 3, 4, 6 seasons. This show did it in 12 episodes.
Yeah. Like, you would expect this kind of shit for a series that's like maybe 24, 25 episodes. But this show did it in 12. And a movie.
12. Other shows have no excuse. Even, like, I've said it a couple times, and I'm pretty sure you disagree with me on this, but even the little cat bastard, the main villain of the show, the one who is causing all this, the one who creates the magical girls and ruins people's lives, even he is not actually evil. He's just doing what he's just doing, like he makes he does this big speech to Madoka, like near the end of the series, and he compares he makes a comparison, and I fucking love this comparison. He makes the comparison to, like, cows and chickens in, like, slaughterhouses.
Right.
Where, like, he tells Madoka, like, you eat meat just fine. You eat hamburgers, you eat chicken, and, like, you don't think about the animals that died while you're eating the food. You just do it because you just do it. You don't think about it. And, like, he makes that comparison where he's just like he doesn't, like, the same way that we don't see a problem with, like, eating other animals. He doesn't see a problem with what he's doing to these girls, because, like, his race, by the way, this show has aliens, by the way. His race, he mentions in the show, like, his race does not feel emotion. Like, that he doesn't. I think they consider, like, he said they consider, like, human emotions as, like, a disease or, like, beneath them. So, like, he doesn't, like, the way I interpret evil is, like, you're doing stuff with malicious intention. The little cat bastard, even though you hate him so much, you want to take him out, like, I said this as I was watching Madoka, I want to buy a plushie of that little cat bastard just so I can take it out to the street and burn it. Like, you end up loathing him so hard for all the shit he does in this show, and yet still, he's not evil. He's not doing this, like, he doesn't take joy in this or anything. He's not fucking, like, he's not malicious. He's just doing what he thinks needs to be done for his race. Like, he's making food. His race, like, they use Madoka, they use magical girls and fighting witches as, like, food for them. And that's just what they see us as. They see humans like we see cows and chickens. It's just like, oh, it's food. I hope I'm explaining my thoughts well, but basically what I love about this show is, like, even the main villain who does all these terrible things, even he's not evil. And that, like this show carries its theme of, like, doing the right thing that far.
Yeah. And, like, fucking, even in the end, when it comes to, Homura basically taking over, and she becomes a witch herself. She becomes a fallen angel. She resets everything and becomes God without anyone really knowing, or they forget. Like, she makes them forget. She basically takes over the role that Madoka did in the original timeline in the series. And she justifies it as, I'm taking this burden on myself to make sure everyone else is happy. Like, yes, that's kind of cool that you're doing that. But at the same time, you really were, like, really fucked up in what you said to all these people. You did all these nasty things. You became a witch just to make a point. I
really thought Rebellion was going to have a downer ending, or, like, the bad ending, like, oh, this is the evil ending that you find in video games. Like, this is, like, the show is, like, the good ending. This is route B. But I didn't mind the ending to the movie either.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I would be more mixed on it, but I like the ending to the movie.
Yeah, honestly, to me, the ending of the movie does justice to the like series on like why Homura doesn't want Madoka to become a magical girl.
Yes. Okay.
It stretches her. It stretches her wish for Madoka to not do all that and for everything to just be normal.
Mm-hmm.
Like it stretches that to such a farther extent, and I think it does it perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Like I mentioned, like I said, I would sometimes give my thoughts in the Discord server as I'm going through the series, and one of the things I said was like, okay, we're 6 episodes in, and Madoka still hasn't put on the costume yet. Like, what's up with that? And it's not until like a little bit later, like the next episode, maybe when I made that comment, I realized, we don't want her to put on the costume. Oh, that's where all the tension in the show is coming from. We don't want her to become a magical girl.
Like, all her friends are becoming magical girls left and right, and she's still not making a decision. And then you come to realize, oh, this is why she's not making that decision right now.
Yeah. So, but you're supposed to be sitting there like in nail biting suspense of like, oh god, I hope she doesn't become a magical girl. Meanwhile, the fucking title of the anime is staring you down in the face, being like, I'm called Madoka Magica.
Yeah, this show has Madoka in the title.
Yeah, fucking like the opening song, like the theme song, the goddamn theme song is just like, ooh, look at all this footage of Madoka being a magical girl. Look at all these scenes that don't happen in the show.
Fucking bless Claris, by the way. Amazing soundtrack.
Oh yeah, that opening slaps.
Like even the music in the movie is fucking amazing. It's just everything about this show and franchise is so good.
Right?
Just
God damn! I wish I would have watched. I wish I had watched this show sooner. I'm kicking myself in the ass for not watching it sooner. Like, should I talk about how the show ends? Because we've already established there's spoilers.
Yeah.
If you've made it this far, you've either already watched the anime or you don't care about spoilers. So I'm just gonna say how the show ends. It ends because like this like going into the last episode, you have no idea what's going to happen because it seriously seems like there's like no hope. Like no matter what happens, everything is good. Like this show is not going to end well. Like either Madoka doesn't become a magical girl and the giant god witch destroys everything, or Madoka does become a magical girl, saves Homura, but then she becomes a witch and destroys everything anyway. Like there's no way out of this. So like, but then like, because Homura kept going back in time, by the way, there's time travel too. There's there's aliens and time travel in this magical girl anime, by the way.
Everything that confused Zeh in Rebellion happened to involve time travel. Time travel has fucked the story with this series. Like, yeah. Fucking Homura chose the most insane power.
Yeah, but yeah, because she kept going back in time, she kept like it unintentionally made Madoka super important because like it's just like, oh, this is the point. It's better explained in the anime, but basically Homura going back in time over and over to try and save Madoka unintentionally made Madoka this super important person that if she were to become a magical girl, she would have the powers of a god and be able to do anything, which also means that if she were to become a witch, she would be unstoppable.
Yeah.
So like the wish she makes, by the way, God, we keep forgetting to explain all these important things. If you become a magical girl, you get one wish in return. That's the trade.
Yeah.
And her wish is to basically remove destroy all witches from existence. And that means across time as well. So none of the witches, she made the wish to like destroy all witches.
Right.
But that means, but again, when she becomes a magical girl, she was supposed to turn into a witch. So that means she ends up destroying herself. So basically she becomes just like, she becomes a hypothetical. That's what she becomes.
People like think they remember her, and then they're questioned if they actually remember her or what she did.
Yes, and Homura is basically the only person who remembers. And that last scene, like this show spends a lot of time building the relationship between Madoka and her mother. And that last scene with them, where Madoka is about to leave to go out into the storm to help Homura, and her mother stops her to be like, I'm like, you're going out into a storm. I'm not going to let you do that. And Homura and Madoka tells her like you said once that I was the perfect daughter, and you raised me to always do what's right. So please trust me. I would not do something if it was going to make you sad. And she like promises her mother that, again, hard to explain, but she makes this vow to her mother, like she's not going to make her sad by disappearing. And like, she promises that no matter what, she would, making someone sad would be awful for her. So her mother ends up letting her go. And in the end, she erases herself, and her mother never knew, would now no longer knows she exists.
Exactly.
And man, I'm nearly crying just talking about it.
It's a fucked up situation, man. So
I mean, Madoka, she didn't lie. She did the right thing.
Exactly.
And she didn't make her mother sad.
Her mom can't be sad about something she doesn't know.
Right. Like, fuck, man, this anime. God, it's so good. Fuck, dude. The show, I love it so much. Oh.
So, anyways, I would like to say my last thoughts that we forgot, that Sayaka, you said that Homura was the only one that remembered Madoka and basically the whole previous timeline, like what happened in the anime. Sayaka was actually, when she died in the original timeline, she became a witch, and in Madoka's wish for witches to not exist anymore, Sayaka was basically brought back, but she was brought back with a new mission under direction of Madoka, in the sense. And that's why when Madoka comes down from the heavens to help save Homura, Sayaka comes down with her as her angel, basically. And then Homura makes the decision to grab Madoka, and then take her power, become the god herself. Basically, at the end, she becomes a god, so she can rid everyone's memory or experience with everything. And then she asks Madoka what she asked at the beginning of the series, but she changed Madoka's answer, which is what she wanted. She wants Madoka to not think about becoming anything that would put her in danger, which is why I say that Rebellion ended things really good.
You know what? I'm glad that we waited until this long to record Cryptcast, because if we had recorded it right after I finished the series, this whole podcast would have been about fucking wraiths. I'm still not over that. I'm still fucking...
It's like in Ruby Abridged. What the hell is a Death Stalker? What the fuck is a Wraith?
Yeah. What the fuck is a Wraith?
This series makes you think, man.
I'm not getting over this.
Do you have any closing thoughts?
Okay. But seriously, the show is fucking great, and you should definitely watch it.
The anime is up on Netflix and Hulu and Crunchyroll and Funimation, I think. Rebellion is nowhere to be found. You have to buy that shit, which is fucking expensive because Aniplex likes money. So we had someone help us with their copy. So yes, go watch the series if you can. It's really good.
I'm someone who I'm not an anime fan. And when I say that, I mean, like, I'm not gonna watch a show just because it's an anime. But even somebody who, like, isn't as interested in anime as JChip is, this show is so good, and I love it, and just watch it. Just please. Even if you're not interested in anime, please watch Madoka Magica.
Like, it's the same thing about what people say about Ghibli. They're not anime fans, but they love Ghibli. Because it's super easy to get into, like, that kind of animation. That kind of media is so good.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, last thoughts?
No, I think I said everything I need to say.
All right. So thank you guys for listening, and Cube did nothing wrong. Okay, bye-bye.
You fucking... You had that saved. You had that fucking prepared, you motherfucker.